Well, Nintendo showed off their latest glimpse of Breath of the Wild 2 at E3 2021, having introduced the game to the world at E3 2019. The trailer may have been short, but it's packed full of interesting details, and today I'm going to go through everything that we currently know about Breath of the Wild 2, plus round up some of the speculations in the community since the trailer was shown off. Well, first of all, we've got the trailer itself, and it was the headline act of E3 2021 from Nintendo, which showed off a little bit more detail, and it definitely contrasted to the original trailer shown off in 2019. So the original trailer showed Link and Zelda travelling through a series of underground caves, and while they're travelling, it appears a corpse or remains of a body is being held captive or is under some kind of control or influence due to a severed arm gripping its chest. Speculation at the moment, this is the remains of Ganondorf. However, we don't know the details for sure. So Link and Zelda continue their travels on a huge elephant-like beast, but they continue on foot when they appear not to be able to get over a bridge. Link and Zelda come across the corpse, surrounded by a swirling green power. There's a quick cut, and at this point we see some evil escaping from the corpse, and Link gets grabbed by this thing that also appears to be trapping the supposed Ganondorf corpse, and it looks like Zelda falls down deep into the underground, perhaps splitting up the pair. Well, that was our first taste of Breath of the Wild 2 back in 2019, but now fast forward to 2021, we've got much more than that, plus a little gameplay too. So in the new trailer, we open up with Link once again being grabbed by the smoke-like corruption black and red thing, and it looks like some kind of corruption indicated by that red colour. We see the corpse, who could be Ganondorf, raising his hands into the air, once again alive and kicking, followed by a reminder that Zelda falls to the depths of the underground. The tone then dramatically changes as we see Link falling from the sky, so he's way up there in the clouds and appears to be free falling down to Hyrule below. Link then is seen riding his glider safely down to the ground. So the first thing to notice here that when Link is falling from the sky, he appears to have a corrupted right arm, whereas the Link with the glider appears to be as per the Breath of the Wild Link. Now it looks like there could be two Links in this game, perhaps similar to Ocarina of Time, where we play a young Link or regular Link. Well, next we see Link running through Hyrule, long hair flowing, again with that corrupted arm. So in the distance, we can see the floating islands in the sky. So this appears to be one of the major themes for Breath of the Wild 2, with Hyrule dramatically changed from the first game, and parts of Hyrule having floated up into the air. Yeah, given we see Link skydiving down from above, I'm pretty sure we're not going to be only underground, as indicated by the first trailer, but we're also going to be travelling high above Hyrule on the islands in the sky. And this is very similar to Skyward Sword, and it may be one of the reasons that Skyward Sword is going to be released again this year for the Nintendo Switch. Perhaps the creators at Nintendo want us to understand the origins of the Zelda franchise before diving back into the world of Breath of the Wild. So moving on, we see the bokoblins on the top of a stone talus rising up from the ground. There's a quick shot of what appears to be Link's arm glowing and covered in light. So there is speculation at the moment, rather than Sheikah Slate, this time we're going to be using Link's arm, and perhaps it's going to have different abilities and also attachments too, and this harks back to some Breath of the Wild concept art where we see an armless Link. It certainly makes sense to have some kind of multi-tool that we use, and the Sheikah Slate made sense in the Wii U days, given the kind of item with a touchscreen that we could hold, but it's going to be interesting to see how this one evolves. But we don't know yet exactly what happened to Link's arm, but we know something is definitely going on here. Well, next up in the trailer, we see Link wielding some new powers. He's got his spiky ball falling down a hill towards him, and it looks like Link can either turn back time or use some kind of kinetic power to push the spiky ball back up the hill. You know, a rewind time mechanic would be really, really cool, and this opens up a lot of possibilities for puzzles in the game. And we're not yet clear on whether full-blown dungeons are going to return to the sequel to Breath of the Wild just yet, but this was a huge part of the feedback since the original came out in 2017. Fans really want to see the return of larger dungeons rather than the smaller shrines. We also see Link wielding what looks to be a flamethrower, but this one is on his left arm when compared it to the corrupted arm being on the right. So Link then does a little backflip to evade enemies he's fighting. So strangely, Link then also appears to travel directly through concrete via a water-like ability. It's unclear as to what is happening here, but it looks like Link is once again reversing time as the water droplet goes up rather than down. And then Link appears to travel through solid stone, arriving high above Hyrule in the clouds. So it's all really mysterious, and we're likely to hear a lot more about this really, really soon. In the final scene, we see Castle Hyrule shaking and rumbling against the backdrop of dramatic music, and then it raises up into the sky. And there's clearly some event that leads to this, and whether it's that discovery of the corpse Ganondorf under the ground or the corruption escaping and affecting Hyrule, we just don't know. So the latest trailer closes with the castle in the sky, with Zelda's lullaby playing in the background against a beautiful sunset over Hyrule, and it fades to black with the number 2022 left on the screen. So we were hoping for more of a firm release date, but there's plenty of details in the trailer here, and I really discover more every time I watch it. Now, fan theories have been swirling since the release of the first trailer, but now we've got another one. The theories have really gone into overdrive, so let's take a moment to go over the most common ones. So first of all, can we play as Zelda in Breath of the Wild 2? So since the first trailer, fans were hoping for some kind of co-op play with Link in Breath of the Wild 2, and since the second trailer came out, it appears that if Link and Zelda get separated in some way, so Zelda looks like she falls down to the depths, and it could be that Link and Zelda are split up and we have to play as both of them to hopefully meet up later in the game. Now perhaps the Zelda sections are underground, whereas the Link sections are above ground on Hyrule and also on the islands in the sky. Well, next up, can we play as Ganondorf in Breath of the Wild 2? So there's definitely something up with Link in the trailers. One of the Links looks like he's from Breath of the Wild, another looks like he's got long hair, plus he's got that corrupted arm. And since the first trailer came out, so theories about Ganondorf being the corpse or releasing the corruption have been going around, but fans have taken that a little bit of a step further and think perhaps one of the Links we actually see isn't Link, but actually a young Ganondorf. There are similarities between the shoulder tunic from the character in the trailer to the one on the corpse, plus we never actually see Link's face in the trailer, so there's maybe something fishy going on. There are clues in the lore to Breath of the Wild also. For example, in the tapestry, we see a hero saving Hyrule from the calamity 10,000 years ago before the events of Breath of the Wild, and the hero saving the world has similarities to the corpse Ganondorf seen in the first trailer. You know, personally, I'm sure about this one, given that Ganondorf is the only male Gerudo, but only time will tell, and it would be a massive surprise. Well, can we control time in Breath of the Wild 2? So there are a couple of moments in the latest trailer where we see a Link potentially controlling time, including pushing a spiky ball back up the hill, and also a strange water-like traversal where he goes upwards and appears to travel through solid rock. Well, next up, is there a connection between this and Skyward Sword? So the second trailer for Breath of the Wild 2 looks really similar to the gameplay found in Skyward Sword, where Link travels between the islands in the sky, called Skyloft. So one of the main shots in the new trailer is Link skydiving down towards Hyrule, and this suggests we could be spending plenty of time in the Sky Islands, and perhaps we'll return to Skyloft found in Skyward Sword. It's also interesting that this summer Skyward Sword is getting an HD remaster for Nintendo Switch coming out on the 16th of July 2021, and perhaps Nintendo wants us to brush up on Skyward Sword before going into Breath of the Wild 2. Now, Skyward Sword is an underrated Zelda game with some great dungeon design, but the game did have a whole load of bloat, especially at the start of the game, which turned off many fans. Well, the new trailer was cut together brilliantly, and it looks like Nintendo wants fans to speculate about what's going to go on in Breath of the Wild 2. So it'd be great to hear what you think down in the comments, your theories, or get in contact through patreon.com/thisweekinvideogames, and I'll read them out on the next podcast. Well, that is it for this Breath of the Wild 2 trailer analysis and sequel theories roundup. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next video.